Oh, well,
Yeah.
I mean, yesterday, off day, give the guys a chance to breathe through it, just process the whole weekend. But great crowd, guys went after it, played really good ball, and all the things that we're tracking, and I mean, that we're holding important to us. They're doing a really good job at. So today, looking forward to a strong practice, focusing on, again, base running stuff, playing defense. Notice that we've been eliminating a lot of free bases. Had someone actually delivered a nice gift today in the mail. A T-shirt says "No free bases."
There you go. We were talking about that a couple weeks ago.
So this might be one of your companions that are shooting. They found my address and sent me a T-shirt. But it's nice that we've been working on those things and they're paying off and doing that in the games. But still, we got to stay consistent with it. So.
Is there anything that you learned about your team this season through the first 10 games that maybe you weren't expecting, or you're doing better than expected, or further along?
I wouldn't say anything real big. Frankly, what I saw in the fall and how they bonded together and went about their work, I'm not shocked at guys, always staying late and working together and helping each other out. The atmosphere that's in the clubhouse is really good, and I think that just carries into our work, so I wouldn't say I'm really surprised. We've had a few guys down, with a few dings here and there, but other guys stepping up, and that's something we talked about, the ability to have depth. So older guys pushing the younger guys pushing the older guys, and just having that mentality of when my name is called, I'm going to be ready to go out and compete. And so we've seen that, even though we've had a few guys that weren't able to be out there that we were hoping to. Other guys have stepped in and done a great job.
How important do you think it was on Sunday to play a game like that where it goes down to the wire and the outcome for all intents and purposes isn't decided in the fifth inning?
Yeah, always talking about finishing games, right? And sometimes that can just kind of go right over your head when you're up by a handful. Like, what does that really mean? We're not in any pressure situation. As I alluded to before, last year we had a lot of those games, close games. And for this year's club, we were down 2. Melton hits one out, and great pinch hit at bat from Casper, tying it up, getting us into last inning. We had the winning run at the plate. We had Melton hitting against the side armor. We're in a good spot right there, and getting the tying run on second base, that's big. And so it just shows the relentless pursuit. When we're up, we continued to tack runs on guys these first couple weeks. And when we're down, we continued to respond to a little adversity, which that excites me. Is that we give up 3 one inning, and then we jump back and score 3. We give up 2, we score a couple more, and then some on top of that. We're down a couple runs, we tie it up, we give ourselves a chance to go out and win. Honestly, that was a real fun series. Some big time plays being made against the wall against us. So we learned a little bit more about ourselves, controlling our emotions, not letting that carry into the next at bat. We thought we could have had an extra base hit or maybe even a home run right there. The ball gets tracked down. You got to move on quick and be ready for the next at bat.
I assume the phrase "family at bat" comes from you. What does a family at bat mean?
Positive family at bats are moving runners, getting the job done, whether it's drawing a walk, getting on base on an error, moving a runner, regardless of no outs or 1 out. So a lot of times guys would say, if there's a runner on second and nobody out, you want to hit to the right side, get him a third. True. But also, if there's even 1 out, putting the ball in play and moving that runner up to third base, that's also equally important, because our odds of scoring are much greater than just being on second. It's not a guarantee on a base hit that you're scoring a guy from second base. But when you get a guy on third base, the pressure that is now on the pitcher, catcher, and the defense, hey, if I mess this up, if I leave one hanging, that's a run. If I spin one too hard in the dirt, that's a run, possibly. So all about putting pressure on the defense. And so anytime we're at the plate, and we've seen our numbers be in a really good spot this year as far as our offensive approach with walks and strikeouts, we're putting the ball in play. We're making the defense work, and everyone's going to do it from time to time. But we're not chasing a ton of ugly pitches. When we do, it's very noticeable, right? But that's going to be part of our work this week, is making sure that we're executing, with runner on third, less than 2. What is our approach? Continuing to harp on that. And then if you're sitting around watching our batting practice, we're challenging the guys and also making sure that each guy has an approach that caters to their style of game to help the family as a whole. But
does a home run count as a family at bat?
Oh yeah.
So anything productive.
Right, anything productive, but with some guys, like whether it's a hit by pitch or drawing a walk, moving runners, getting on from an error.
Just any way to help.
And a lot of times, a base runner can be a part of that. If you hit a ball out into the outfield, let's say, take Boyd's at bat, for example, fly ball 252 feet to right field, Wade Meckler's on third base, guys coming through it and right, got a strong arm, Wade slides in home, that creates a positive plate appearance. Maybe it wasn't, a super deep fly ball. We had to have the speed on third to do it, but having great base runners with strong instincts, good jump, and a good slide at home allows that to be a positive outcome. Same thing, a ball hit the shortstop, and the guy running at second base. If he's able to find one of the several ways to advance to third base, that helps everyone out in its entirety. So, you need a good base runner as well. You need to have a good approach at the plate, but it's baseball and it gets hard. So having great base runners is going to help you with a positive outcome with that. So we track them. We want guys to see them. We video them and send them out to the group chats just so everyone's aware of what we're looking for.
So you might be inclined to send out a guy who pushes a guy to third with a dribbler to second base as you would a double in the gap.
Yeah, all important, right? And we go back to the trip down in Arizona. Dernetti gets on base with a 2-strike knock, takes second on a ball in the dirt, 1 out. Meckler grounds out hard to second base. He's on third base then, scores on a wild pitch. Yeah. Right? If we don't put the ball in play on the right side, what if we shoot a ball to shortstop and he's stuck at second base? We don't score that run. And so there's always those little opportunities that you can potentially score. 1 run is a big thing. Yeah. So that's where, if we highlight that to the guys, they start seeing it is important to be present every pitch. That one time you weren't ready for a ball in dirt and it kicks away and you were off balance leaning back towards first and stuck there, that could be the big change in the game. McDowell hits one down the right field line. He's running hard out of the box and taking a turn. What if he wasn't running hard, does he even have a chance of getting to third? Right? He's running hard, but we still hold him up at second base. Probably the right call. If he gets thrown out there and we got a couple cracks at scoring him from second, anytime you're not going to the best of your ability, you are taking away from the family. You're not just hurting yourself, you're hurting everyone. So we want to make sure that all those big things and little things are highlighted.
Do you, word this carefully, do you anticipate having the same rotation this weekend? Rotation?
As of now, Jerp and Kamats are going to be going. We're most likely, we got an idea where we're going to be going with it, but it's still TBD on Sunday. Okay. Brock did a great job going out there, commanding his off-speed stuff. He wasn't feeling necessarily his fastball in certain parts of the zone, but worked through it and still building him up as well. Nice thing is we have a handful of guys that can work in long relief. So especially with all the midweeks coming up, we got to make sure we're continuing to build everyone up for that.
Speaking of the relievers, you're kind of working some new arms into the bullpen this year that weren't here last year, whether they're true freshmen, transfers, you name it. How have you kind of assessed their performance, the bullpen guys as a whole so far?
It's fun watching them grow. Carpenter coming in, we kind of had a really good idea of what we were going to see from him. He had a rough outing down in Arizona, a couple runs given up, but we still have tons of confidence in him, as he should himself. And he came in and throws the ball really hard, and his demeanor on the mound is spreads to the other guys in a great way. We know what we're getting out of Verb. He's competitive. He's going to go after the guys, and he's mixing 3 pitches on them. And it's not easy finishing games. You have to have a different mentality and be fearless, and that's what Mitch brings to the table. 2 guys I'm really excited about right now, how they've performed thus far and their growth over the last few years. Ian Lawson and also Ryan Brown. But they're showing how they've adapted, shortened up and controlling the run game. I think that's also part of how our base runners have attacked them in the fall. They forced them to be quicker to the plate, otherwise our guys are going to run. And they're executing their off-speed pitches and attacking with their fastball, which we love to see. So I've seen a lot of growth out of those 2 guys. Ben Ferrer, another guy who's, I think, you'd ask anyone on the squad there, okay, he's pretty difficult. He mixes the pitches extremely well. They all tunnel the same, and he'll take the ball in any situation that you ask him to, or go as long as you need him to. He really fits this family really well.
Do you talk to your guys at all, or do they have any questions for you about what's going on between Major League Baseball and the Players Association, especially the guys that want to have a career in the show someday?
Yeah, so pretty much everyone in that clubhouse wants to go on and play at the at the professional level. It's side conversations here and there, just as guys are in between stretch or something. But really, once we get going, there's not a ton of that talk going on. It's mostly about, I guess, focusing here. There's a lot of stuff outside noise that we could spend a lot of time chatting about, but there's only so much time in the day that we get to work with our guys, and we want to make sure that time is about the game and helping them perform better on the field and in the classroom and with whatever else they have going on in life. So you can choose to talk about that stuff, but it's going to work its way out as they continue to figure it out on their own, but we're just going to stay within our bubble.
Was Duke and Trusky, was that just day off, and Duke obviously hitting the bomb, just give him a chance?
Well, I think a good matchup for both those guys to get in there. Janae's done a fantastic job at shortstop, picking it just like we want him to, putting together some great at-bats. This is also, I felt, a great time for the matchup for those guys based on numbers and stuff and their approach and what they're showing, but also for a guy like Trosky, he's a gamer, man. He works extremely hard, and to get him a touch there and to get a start here in front of all of our hometown fans, that's a big moment for him. So it's good to break the ice on that one, and then it doesn't necessarily
next time he's out there, it's whatever.
It's not as much. So, but the nice thing is everyone trusts both those guys on defense. They trust them in the box. So it's nice having depth and giving everyone else a breather. But there's not a guy who shows up not expecting to be in the lineup, because they're all very capable of doing so.
Looking at Melton, his evolution the last since you got here to now has been remarkable. Just that process and his evolution, what pleases you most about seeing what he's kind of become?
Just continued growth. The trend just keeps going. He's learning more and more about himself, and getting on time with the ball and what that means, and even from just this last weekend, understanding how to control his emotions. But he expects a lot out of himself. He's extremely gifted with his athletic ability, his speed, and his arm, and his whip and the bat, and how far he can hit that thing. I mean, he scares a lot of people on the field if you're playing defense. And so I really just watching him continue to get better and being able to be coached. It doesn't matter whether it's an offensive or defensive thing, or a base running thing, or a life thing. He wants to be coached, and he handles it well and responds to it. So it's a testament to him and his maturity. And he wants to lead these guys. He wants to do the right thing, and he knows that everyone has eyes on him because of his talents. And so, good, bad, or indifferent, he's got to respond the right way all the time.
Does he have the highest exit velocity on the team, I assume?
it looks like he hit a couple
Yeah.
off Finley over there, so not many people can do that.
Is he like 105 or something? You said a couple of years.
I've seen him get over 110. I mean,
wow.
there was one point in time where he hit like, what was it, 7 balls in a row over 107?
That was in practice. Or
No, this
BP?
was in the game. This
in the
was like
game?
when we were up at UW and transitioning to the Utah series.
Last year.
It was like 7 or 10 at bats in a row. He was getting on base, and 7 of which.
My back just hurts thinking about that, man. Jesus.
Whippy.
Yeah. That's, do you have captains? Do you have defined captains?
I'd say that everyone who puts a uni on
So no.
or doesn't wear a uni.
But
I
you don't do it. Okay.
I let it happen organically, because sometimes if you give that title to someone,
Yeah.
it can be a lot. I think that they're going to understand who they look up to and who
Sure.
they want to take that role on.